Hello and welcome back to more Films Under Constant Critique, where we take a look at films, some good, some bad, and some downright awful. I'm Bongo Baikov, joined by our host Maverick, Dren, Zaria. This week we're taking a look at two films, Alien Origin and Alien Convergence.
Okay, so in regard to the first movie we're talking about, I take issue with the term film in that intro.
I also take issue with the word origin for the title of the movie. There's really no origin of anything explored here.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna have to update that worst list we just did. So, and I think we were talking about this earlier, but I think this is kind of both of our faults that we ended up doing this on the podcast, because you suggested, hey, we should do an Asylum film. And I said, oh, how about we do like one of the Alien ripoffs or something? One of the Asylum Alien ripoffs. And yeah, I'm regretting these choices now. Yeah, this is a double feature.
Yeah.
If I wasn't worried about copyright, I'd play the song Science Fiction Double Feature from Rocky Horror Picture Show, but unfortunately can't do that.
So our first movie was a mockbuster of the movie Prometheus.
Mockbuster? I don't even know if it deserves that title, because like Blockbuster assumes it derives from the term blockbuster, which means a lot of people went to see it. Nobody watched this. Are you fucking kidding me?
It's especially awful. So I guess to clear out right away what this movie is it's a found footage film that takes place in Belize.
Did you want to talk about the Asylum for a little bit, like who they are, or do you just assume?
Yeah, that's probably a good,
because we talked about canon in the which some people have compared them to canon, but Canon's movies were a lot more charming.
Yes, they weren't fun. Just churn out crap for the sake of churning out crap like the Asylum is.
Yeah, the Asylum, they basically just are like, okay, what's like a popular movie right now? And then they do like a cheap ripoff and release it direct to video. So that's how you get stuff like Sunday School Musical, Atlantic Rim. I'm trying to remember the names of some of the other ones.
There's Top Gunner,
Titanic 2,
Jurassic Domination, Thor, God of Thunder.
Oh my gosh. I think they're also the ones responsible for Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus, if I remember right.
Yep. They're also responsible for the massive Sharknado franchise.
That's their most famous work right there, is the Sharknado movies. Isn't the third one called like Sharknado 3? Oh hell no.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
But yeah, and this is their Alien Origin. This is their ripoff of Prometheus.
And so this movie...
we mention it came out like 4 days after Prometheus did? Yes. Did we mention that already? Okay.
I don't think... No, we haven't yet, no.
While recording, I don't... But yeah, it was released 4 days after Prometheus.
And it shares about 0% DNA with Prometheus.
Yeah, it shares about as much with Prometheus as the 60s spoof version of Casino Royale shares with the Daniel Craig Casino Royale. No, even less, actually. It shares even less in common with that, now that I think about it. And yeah, it's a found footage movie. And honestly, the minute I found that out, I should have just said no to this one for doing it on the podcast.
See, found footage movies are usually just not very good.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't think of a single one that I like, and that includes the original Blair Witch. I have several problems with that movie. And so seeing something that's basically a ripoff of the Blair Witch.
Blair Witch was better than this, though.
It was.
But Blair Witch, I will say this about the Blair Witch Project. The original, not the atrocious sequel, Book of Shadows. which isn't even, that one's not even a found footage movie if I remember right. It's just a shitty horror film. The first Blair Witch Project, I will say the beginning of it's kind of interesting, where they're like interviewing people and stuff, but once it's just them running around in the woods, then it gets to be just nauseating. And
a lot
the
of this movie,
the marketing scheme behind that movie was honestly pretty brilliant, I will say.
Yeah, it's pretty clever. But this movie, Alien Origin, it feels like more like it's trying to copy off of Blair Witch than it does any of the Alien franchise.
Yeah, or
because it's got a similar setup where it's somebody making a documentary, which is how they explain, oh, we got these cameras here. Then they're out like in the jungle in Belize.
I'll be honest, as much as I don't like the Blair Witch Project, I think it's kind of insulting comparing it to this movie. I'll be totally honest. I'd be more willing to compare. I don't know.
I mean, I'm just saying that Alien Origin is trying to basically copy off of Blair Witch, despite trying to be an Alien knockoff.
Yeah, I've mentioned I'm not a fan of found footage movies. I don't like Paranormal Activity. I don't even like Cloverfield, if I'm being honest. It's just, I will admit though, the first found footage movie I ever saw, it was Troll Hunter. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I don't think so.
I think it was like a Swedish movie or like Norwegian, if I remember right. But that was like a found footage movie. That was the first found footage movie I ever saw, and I'll admit it freaked me out when I saw it because I didn't know, I wasn't aware of this gimmick, so I thought it was real.
Yeah.
But like, it's one of those gimmicks where once the novelty of it wears off, there's just,
not much there.
Because now there's just, like, Blair Witch Project, maybe if I saw it when it first came out, it would have been really scary, but it's just now there's just too many found footage movies, so there's just no, like, novelty factor to it. Keeping with the found footage aspect, the entire cast and crew is uncredited.
Which, that is just so fantastic, and I want to know if that was a legit, like, choice from Asylum, or if everyone said, no, do not associate me with this movie.
I mean, who would want to be associated with this? I mean, I don't blame them if that's the case, but yeah, even the director is uncredited.
And I actually wanted to speak about the director of this film.
I looked at his filmography earlier, and yeah.
He's done a total of 12 films for the Asylum.
Oh, well, just for the Asylum.
Including knockoffs of Halloween, Indiana Jones, Aragon, Jack the Giant Slayer of all movies, RoboCop, Mad Max, Fury Road, Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I noticed Alan Quartermain and the Temple of Skulls was one of them.
Yeah.
And it's not an Asylum film, but he directed Sand Sharks.
Oh.
Which might as well be an Asylum film. I've never seen it, but it looks like it would be one.
It sounds like one.
Okay, so starting with the movie, so it opens with text saying there was a special forces unit sent to the jungles of Belize in 2011.
Yep.
With a journalist and film crew, and then they disappeared. 6 months later, their footage was found. So yeah, it's basically, oh, is this going to be like the Blair Witch Project?
Yeah. And so, as the film begins, we're introduced to our insanely forgettable cast.
I don't remember any of the characters at all.
I remember the journalist woman. I think her name was Julie.
It's something like that, yeah.
And that's about it. During these opening scenes, I started to realize something with how it was shot.
Okay.
I don't think they knew how to make a found footage movie.
You think so?
And on top of that, it looks like the base that they used was The Office. The way the camera moves and the camera pans, especially throughout the beginning of this, looks like an episode of The Office.
It kind of does, actually, now that I think about it. Like the American one, at least.
Yeah.
The British one actually is shot like it's a documentary. It's like looks like it could be documentary footage, but like the one in the American one's like got like really bright lighting. It doesn't really, but anyway. So yeah, getting back to, should we even get back to the movie? I mean,
let's get this knocked out because we
okay,
can go
I
really
honestly
fast.
don't know what to say about this. It's just a shitty found footage movie.
Basically, and it feels more like Predator than it does like an Alien movie.
Even for a found footage movie, it sucks though. Like I've seen a number of found footage movies. This is one of the worst I have ever seen.
I think we need to go through a speed round of this.
Name as many as we can.
So no, like a speed round of getting through the plot to Alien Origin.
Okay. They walk in a forest.
Eventually they find a camera, and so we get found footage within found footage. Showing basically unusable footage of a man supposedly getting attacked underwater.
Is that what that was supposed to be? I couldn't tell what was going on. Or no, I remember now. Okay, I wrote down. There was like footage of a manatee. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like weird effect. It was so poorly shot that I couldn't tell like what was going on.
So, just getting back to getting through this strange quote unquote plot.
Oh, this has a higher rating than Going Overboard, the Adam Sandler movie.
Oh wow.
That is a 1.8. Battlefield Earth has a 2.5, so this movie is worse than Battlefield Earth. That is true, it is. This isn't a movie. That's another thing. Alien Origin is not a movie.
There is like no story here, which is saying something for a 90-minute film.
It's like they literally threw a bunch of people out in the woods and then told them to improvise. Or no, if they improvised, they would have come up with better dialogue than this, probably, because the dialogue in this is so boring and nondescript.
So, they end up finding some, like, drug mule out in the middle of the jungle who has belongings of the archaeologists who disappeared.
Oh, yeah, they have that skull.
Yeah, well, real quick, probably the dumbest line of the movie to me comes during this part.
I don't remember any of the lines from this movie.
I wrote this one down because it was so stupid.
They sucked. All the lines sucked. They were just bad.
So they find like camera footage of the archaeologists within this cave that they've supposedly never discovered, even though there's a massive hole in it. And the main archaeologist finds like all this broken pottery in this one spot, and he's like, they used to break them to banish the evils of the and then stops talking.
Oh, I think I remembered.
It's like, you're telling me that you're in a cave with ancient pottery and it wouldn't have broken over time.
Was that Dr. Holden? The footage of Dr. Holden? Okay, alright, I think I remember. Yep. Okay, I'm starting to remember that. Also, okay, we should mention, okay, this was a mockbuster of Prometheus, right?
Yeah.
Where are the similarities to Prometheus in this?
There are zero. Not only that, and I'm getting ahead of myself here, but the alien itself doesn't actually appear until 3 minutes before the end of the movie.
I don't remember the alien appearing at all.
It appeared for like 2.5 seconds.
Was that the skull thing flying towards the screen?
Right before the skull thing, there was like this weird CGI creature for like 2 seconds, and then we get the skull.
I'll be totally honest, I was skipping through a lot of this movie. I was just...
Very fair.
Okay, because nothing happens in this. Nothing happens. There's no plot. It's just cameras just following people. And also, another thing, okay, they, I wanted to bring this up earlier. They are supposed to be in the jungles of Belize, right?
Yeah.
They look like they filmed in, like, the forest near my backyard.
The only time it actually looked like Belize is when they were actually at the Mayan ruins.
Yeah, there were, like, a few Mayan ruins, which I bet the people who made those Mayan ruins are glad they ended up in a shitty movie.
You know, that was my favorite part of the movie. them just showing the ruins, because that's so much more interesting than everything else.
You would rather go on a tour there. That's probably why they made this. They're just like, okay, let's like go on a tour around the Mayan ruins, and then at the same time, hey, we could make a movie.
So then another 20 minutes go by before our next plot point.
Yeah, we got them wandering around in a jungle, or sorry, Jerkwater USA. It looks like Jerkwater USA.
And they eventually run into one of the archaeologists, who takes them to this spaceship in the middle of the jungle. It's really loud, really annoying. You can't hear what anyone is saying. And then an alarm goes off that's even louder than the ship's noises.
You might have
it's
jumped
just
ahead
chaos.
of me, I'm kind of behind, but yeah. I mean, is there anything to really talk about with this movie, though? I mean, just...
No.
Like, okay, the thing with a found footage movie, okay. We can assume the characters had hours and hours of footage, right?
Yeah.
So wouldn't it make sense to edit this down to the most interesting parts?
Instead of the parts of everyone standing in the jungle holding a gun?
Yeah, exactly. You can't just film a bunch of random shit and call it a movie. I'm sorry. Also, okay, so I watched this on Tubi. I don't know if you did or not, but
yeah,
I did. I wrote down the ads. I was during this, just to give us something else to talk about while we're doing this, because the movie's certainly not giving me anything. Okay, so the first ad break I got while I was watching this on Tubi, we had Downy fabric softener.
Ooh.
Okay. You ever use that? I don't think I have, but Tide Ultra Oxy.
Why are you getting so many laundry commercials?
I have no idea. And there were also a lot of Chuck Grassley ads during this and the next movie too. So yeah, and also when these ads came on, I got super excited. Because it was by far the most interesting part of the movie. And I'm a person, I usually get annoyed by the ads on Tubi. So the fact that was more interesting.
Grassley came to save you.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, we are almost done with the plot synopsis of this movie.
But yeah, the ads were kind of related. Okay, yeah, it's just they wander around in the woods. You know, I will say this movie did make me appreciate Prometheus more. You know? Because at least Prometheus has an alien in it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And better everything. I mean, everything in Prometheus is better than this movie. Like, I can't think of anything that movie does worse.
And so, what ends up happening next is, like, for the last probably about, I'd say 50 minutes of the movie, is them walking around the jungle more. The alien attacks them 2 different times. And then the last time, as we had mentioned before, for about 2.5 seconds, you get a flash of a CGI alien. Then a skull flies at the scene, and then we get this epilogue. Who, after they find this horrifying footage of a team being killed by an alien that you can't see, puts an epilogue at the end of it.
I don't
first
remember.
Of all.
What was the epilogue? I don't remember.
The epilogue was the archaeologist lady from earlier.
I think I gave up on the movie at that point. Like, I must have
She was talking about how they somehow had time to run genetic tests on the skull they found in the cave, and found that it was like 70% human DNA.
Oh, yeah, okay, I remember. Yeah, it was basically they were trying to, like, tie this into, like, oh, like, aliens, you know? Our DNA matched with aliens. Yeah, our ancestors were aliens, which... Okay, so this movie's called...
the closest thing to Prometheus that we get.
This movie's called Alien Origin, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't you have talked about this earlier instead of showing hours of footage of people walking in the fucking woods?
You know, the most expensive part of this was the plane tickets to go to Belize.
Exactly, yeah, and then, like... Because the Mayan ruins, I mean, hell, maybe you don't even have to pay to go to those.
I wish I could see the budget for this movie.
There was like a kid's paint set that they had, and I was like going, wow, these are like
What?
some very expensive like props in this movie. But yeah, it's just super boring. I was literally waiting for the commercial breaks. It was that boring. Like who? You remember?
So that being,
you remember when I said that? Okay, I said Hercules and Xena, the animated movie, was the blandest thing we've done on the podcast.
yeah, this has now replaced Hercules and Xena.
Yeah, it totally usurped that title. At least stuff happened in that movie.
True. At least we got a song and dance at one point.
Yeah, we got We're the Titans. We had some of the dumb jokes from the comic relief. Well, that's no fun. She's your sister. We had the part where Hercules just lets the Titans go attack Mount Olympus instead of attacking the mortal world because Hercules is really super incompetent in that movie for some reason.
I will say about Alien Origin, I do have one positive thing to say.
Is it I will say I did kind of like the design of the skull, but that's probably about it. I can't think of anything.
The one positive is that I learned something new about Belize, which is that they apparently have a Mennonite population.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Why are there Mennonites in Belize?
Well, I looked it up. There is an actual Mennonite population in Belize.
Okay.
It's a bunch of German descendants. I think there's about 5,000 people.
Why are the that is a good point. Like, why are there Mennonites in this movie? Yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Oh, actually, their population's exploded recently. There's about 10,000 Mennonites in Belize, apparently.
But yeah, I was just waiting the whole movie for aliens to show up, and they don't.
They didn't.
They literally don't. Like, they could have. That's literally the only thing they could have maybe done to make some of this entertaining, and they didn't even give me that, for fuck's sake. Some of the other ads that showed up during this movie, let's see, we got 50% off at Old Navy.
Yeah, get myself some blue jeans.
I watch Tubi so often that I've seen that ad multiple times at this point.
Actually, when I watch this movie, I watch it on my computer with ad block. I didn't want anyone getting money off of me for watching Alien Origin.
Oh, I should have done that, but I just thought it would make the experience more entertaining having the ads played during, and it did, because that was like the only thing that was making it even somewhat bearable. Like, I was like literally skipping scenes. Like, I couldn't take it. It was just that boring. And I don't do that during very many movies on this podcast. I think I did that during... I think I only did that during Rise of Skywalker and Hercules and Xena. I think those were the... Because with those movies, I just gave up. I was just like, fuck it. I didn't even finish those two movies. But yeah, this one is... Yeah. It's literally... We could have made this movie. That's how poor the production values are.
We could have made it better.
We could go... I have like a woods near my house. We could go film out there. And it would be better than this. It would, at the very least, we could add wittier dialogue. And at least make it funny. Because this movie's not even funny either. Like, it's just boring.
We can afford, like, a $20 costume of just us taping random objects to somebody and calling it an alien. And we would have more alien screen time than they had in Alien Origin.
Exactly. I'm like down in the basement right now. Let me see. Is there like something alien-like down here?
Just put a bucket on someone's head and then like a mop on top of that. And
there's like a Sully stuffed animal over in the corner. We could use that as the alien. This is literally like the found footage version of like Jerry. It's just people walking around. It's boring. Nothing happens. Just walking. There's literally nothing in terms of plot or character development or entertainment or just anything. Like,
yeah.
And it made me think of, there was this review I remember of Roger Ebert. He wrote a review for this movie called Mad Dog Time.
Okay.
His quote from this, there was a quote from this review that I was thinking about while watching this movie. He said that Mad Dog Time was the first movie I have seen that does not improve on the sight of a blank screen viewed for the same length of time. Oh, I've seen bad movies before, but they usually made me care about how bad they were.
That's very fair.
Which is how I feel about this movie. I don't know if I would say that about Mad Dog Time. I mean, that is a terrible movie, though. I will say that.
So the one last thing that I want to say on this movie, about this movie, and this is just because I've been thinking about our best and worst lists from last episode. I don't think it would place on my worst list for the mere fact that I don't really consider this a movie.
That's actually pretty fair. Like, it's kind of hard.
It's a 90-minute compilation of B-roll. Is what we have.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, it does look like B-roll. Yeah. Or now B-roll would probably look better than this. When I watched this, basically my hope was it would be like Ancient Aliens.
Nope.
But done in like found footage, and yeah, no. Okay. You do have a good point though with like, does this even count as a movie? But if it does, this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Like, I don't know if you would go with that, if you would say that, but
it was pretty bad. I still don't think it's like my least favorite movie ever, but it's just an awful movie.
That is a good point you bring up, though. Doesn't even count as a movie. I mean, because there's like some stuff I'm like, just, you know, because there's Empire, the Andy Warhol movie, which like, you're like, does that count as a movie? Because it's just a shot of the Empire State Building, or like Wavelength or stuff like that. At least those ones, they're like done in like kind of an interesting, there's like an experimental element to them.
Yeah. This one was, we needed money right now.
It's just bad and lazy.
This could have been shot and edited on the same day.
Yes, it's that bad. Of the Asylum movies I've seen, this is the worst one.
Yeah. It's not even funny bad, it's just bad.
Because the thing with the Asylum movies, okay, is I've seen some of them, and there's a few that do almost become funny bad, but this one doesn't even manage that. This is just...
It's just bad.
I was trying to figure out if this was the worst thing I've watched for the podcast. How about we say that? We'll say, is this the worst thing we've watched for the podcast?
The worst thing. I will give it this. It didn't make me angry.
Oh, I was mad just because I was wasting my time, I guess. But like, you know, like, well, more annoyed, I guess, than angry. But
fair, but like, I don't know.
It would be in my top 10 if we did that top 10 again. I would probably put it in there.
I think I would also include it, but I don't think I would put it at the bottom because I had no real investment in this.
Which is exactly the problem with the movie. You need investment in a movie in order for it to be good. I mean, even like the bad movies we've done, like, because you look at like Man of Steel, it's bad. Oh, wait a minute. There wasn't really much investment in that either, now that I think about it. But at least there were, like, characters. Like, there was an attempt to do characters and personality and stuff. It failed miserably. But at least there was an attempt. Or, like, The Last Jedi, for example. Again, there were attempts to do a story, to do characters, but it failed completely.
So I honestly think, just looking back at my list,
maybe it's not fair to say that because this is a low budget movie, but you look at like other low budget movies we've done on the podcast, all of them look better than this.
Yeah.
All of them.
So if I were to place this on my list, I would consider it to be worse than Hercules and Xena,
Okay, so it'd
but
be in the
better
top
than
5,
Supergirl.
basically. Better than
Yeah.
Supergirl. I would
Yeah.
no, I would not put it.
I would rather have this playing again before I watched Supergirl again.
Okay, here's the thing. This movie has no scenes in it.
It doesn't. But I
Supergirl
realized
has scenes. There are scenes in Supergirl that I would be like, okay, I wouldn't watch the full movie, probably, because it's too long and there's some parts which are boring. But at least Supergirl, there's like maybe some scenes I could like, okay, that scene was kind of funny just because of how dumb it was. I might watch that. This movie doesn't have that. It doesn't have that. Same with like Rise of Skywalker. I might want to search up like, oh, they fly now, or like Man of Steel. I might go, oh yeah, I want to see I will find him again. Or there's nothing in this movie I ever want to see again. Nothing. Like I can't think of anything.
Here's the thing.
While watching this, I honestly was thinking I'm not joking when I say this. While watching this, I was thinking I'd rather be watching the Star Wars Holiday Special again.
Wow.
Than watching this. And I fucking despise that thing.
Here's the thing. This would make wonderful background noise.
No, it wouldn't. How would it do that? What? How would it make wonderful background noise?
Over 80% of this movie is jungle noises. You just have it on, and then it's a soothing thing.
I'll just pull up a jungle CD then. I'll just pull that up. Yeah, that is an interesting point, actually, now that I think about it. Would I rather listen to this movie or listen to Alien Resurrection? I don't know.
Yeah, no, for me, Alien Resurrection is still at the bottom.
I was trying to decide, is it worse than Alien Resurrection? And honestly, it might be. I'm like, and again, I'm like, I obviously have nothing good to say about Alien Resurrection, aside from it does have one thing that Alien Origin doesn't. It's a movie. It is a terrible movie. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but it's at least a movie. Like, I was watching this, and I was like seriously thinking, is there a time a movie has given me less than this one? It was just, it was like a void. There was just nothing. Like, I said, it's probably the worst found footage movie I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
By far.
The worst Asylum movie. I was like trying to decide, is this the worst movie I have ever seen? And again, I don't know. It's up there though, probably.
I would agree with you on that. It is definitely up there.
Okay, it's not my, well, Jesus. I guess part of it is also, do I even want to define this as a movie? So that was actually a good point you brought up. And I was skipping over a lot of it, but I wasn't missing anything. It's just people walking around. That's it.
So I think it's about.
I guess okay. I will say this about the movie. It does have one thing going for it. At least it wasn't released in theaters.
Fair. That is incredibly fair.
So if we're going by that metric, then at least less people saw this one. Oh my lord, I just was watching it just thinking, this is one of all the movies I've ever seen, this might be the one that was the biggest waste of time. I was watching that and just thinking, like, is there a movie that has entertained me less than this one? Like, just, there's ones that probably made me angrier, but yeah, just, oh my god. Okay, so, since this is a double feature, we're also doing Alien Convergence, and you know what? It sucked, but at least it wasn't Alien Origin.
I will say I watched Alien Origin and Alien Convergence back to back.
Oh, you poor thing.
I was so happy the first 5 minutes of this movie. because it was an actual movie.
And then you had to see the rest of it. Is that what you were gonna say? Or
Yes.
because it's still an Asylum movie. But it's a lot better than Alien Origin. Look, basically, this movie was a palate cleanser. It wasn't like it was more just there to like wash the horrible taste. Because Alien Origin, I was so pissed off the rest of the day that I had watched it, and I was like, God damn it, I need something. And yeah, just Alien Convergence, just again. Like, the best thing you can say about it is that at the very least, it was better than Alien Origin. And you know what? Good for you, guys. You made a better movie than Alien Origin. We probably could do that as well, but okay.
So I will say another bonus this movie has is that it actually bothered to credit the actors.
Yes, it did. It's not a found footage movie. That's another huge
No.
advantage it has. It's not a found footage movie. But like Alien Origin, it has nothing to do with the movie it's ripping off, because this is a ripoff of Alien Covenant.
There is one similarity that I saw.
There's really not. I can't think of anything that it has.
So the one that I saw, so this is kind of skipping forward to like towards the end of the movie, but who cares? It's Alien Convergence.
Yeah, nobody's gonna care if you spoiled this movie.
At one point, a character like tracks in this black goo on their shoe, and they're like, the alien is born from this black goo, and I was like, oh, it's just like the black goo in Prometheus. That's the only connection.
And the title, like, I also love how the poster of it, like, or, well, I should say more the DVD cover. This wasn't released in fucking theaters. The cover of it, they like make it look more like an alien than it does in the movie, because in the movie it looks like a giant bat creature.
And you know what? I'll admit, I would love to see the movie that's on the DVD cover, because that's not the movie we got.
What the hell's the Batman character? Man-Bat?
Oh yeah, Man-Bat.
It looks more like Man-Bat or something.
So this is also jumping ahead, but I do have a bit of trivia about the alien in this movie.
Okay.
The monsters used in this film are the exact same models used in a previous Asylum film, Dragon Crusaders.
Oh, that was the only thing I had written down for trivia. Well, okay, there's another one. I have another one. But anyway, unless you end up mentioning it while we're doing the podcast. We were really, this one, you definitely aren't going to find too much trivia. This doesn't even have a Wikipedia page.
No. Its director, Rob Palatina.
Oh, what has he directed?
I don't know if these are all Asylum movies, but they definitely sound like them. Shark Side of the Moon, Bullet Train Down, Planet Dune. Oh yeah, he's done Asylum films.
Planet Dune, I've seen that. It was like the Asylum doing a Dune ripoff.
Although, to be fair, he has quite the extensive filmography.
Oh, really?
Yes, if you go to his IMDb page, he has... Oh, wait, that's editor credits. He has 86 editor credits.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah.
So, director credits, he has 9.
Yeah, that's not very long, is it?
He did another Alien movie later called Alien Invasion.
Oh no, what was that a ripoff of?
Oh, I'll have to open up the list.
Again, feel free to go off on as many tangents as you want, because it'll be more interesting than the movie herein.
Wait, is that not? That's not an Asylum film. He just made another Alien film. Because why not?
Alien Invasion, I've never heard of it. Yeah, okay, so the cast, bunch of people we haven't heard of, obviously.
Yep.
Although I did look through their filmographies and I found some funny stuff there. Stephen Brown, who I think plays the guy in the wheelchair in this movie.
Yeah, well, you have to specify the dad in the wheelchair.
Dad in the wheelchair, yeah.
Because there are 2 characters in wheelchairs in this movie.
Wait, are there?
Yep, because there's the dad, and then there's the other fighter pilot guy.
I forgot about that, I guess. Granted, can you blame me for forgetting this movie? I mean, but Stephen Brown, he was in a fuck ton of shows, and he was in some movie called Helen Keller Had a Pit Bull.
What?
I have no idea what this is, but just from that title, I kind of want to see it. And Michael Marcel, he was in Shark Side of the Moon and
Great.
Atlantic Rim Resurrection. Because we need more sequels that have the word resurrection in the title.
Yes.
He wasn't even in the first Atlantic Rim movie. He was in the sequel to Atlantic Rim, which was a ripoff of Pacific Rim. And I also noticed that a few of the cast members are credited as background person.
Really?
Or in other words, they were playing
me. No.
But yeah. Also, okay, so going in... Sorry, what were you going to say?
I know, I didn't have anything else.
Going in, my only hope for this was it would be better than Alien Origin.
And it was.
It was.
That's not saying much.
And I was literally, just hoping, okay, can it at least give me something? And it does have a slightly higher IMDb rating.
Yep, 2.2.
Oh, I was gonna have you guess it, but whatever. That does still make it the second lowest rated movie we've done on the podcast. Oh, that's another thing. This one's an actual movie.
Yep.
It's not an actual good movie, but it's an actual movie.
It's a film. You can classify it as such. The plot's weak, but it's actually there this time.
Basically, that's basically what you say about the whole movie. It's there, but it's just weak. Yeah. Okay, so starting... We can actually recap this one, might as well. Yeah. I got really lazy with the notes on these two movies, though.
So did I. So the movie starts off with 3 meteors hitting different power plants across the world.
Yeah,
and we see a bunch of snakes crawling out of one of them.
Slug creatures or whatever. Yeah, which, you know, to think of this kind of like the beginning of Spider-Man 3 a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Which is obviously a better movie. I mean, just... come on, okay, even if you don't like Spider-Man 3, it's better than this movie. I mean...
Yeah.
Granted, it doesn't take much, but... I gotta say, those are some high-quality special effects right there.
Better quality than Alien Origin.
Which didn't have any special effects, really. I mean... And then we get a disorienting opening credits scene where it's just moving across landmass while the credits flash in a weird way. It was very strange. And then we see some pilots doing a test or something.
And they're apparently using some sort of helmet that lets them fly the plane with their minds. Because using your hands is too difficult.
There was you have to use your hands? That's a baby's toy. You thought of it at the same time. There was one line here that made me laugh where somebody says, I need you thinking the commands, not pantomiming them. That's what it's like when you're first using the Wii, actually, now that I think about it. And already the characters have more personality than the ones in Origin.
Yep.
Granted, it doesn't take much to do that, but this movie doesn't have much, but...
Oh, and I don't know if we've said this or made this clear at all. Despite the fact that this is a ripoff of Alien Covenant...
It has nothing to do with that's right, it's not even a sequel to Alien Origin.
No. Despite the fact that it's knocking off a sequel and it already knocked off the first movie, They are not connected in the slightest.
That's one thing I was disappointed about. I was hoping the Asylum had like their own little like alien mythos that
I know. I was hoping for that too, and it turns out they don't.
Although, granted, I'd rather not watch a movie that has connections to Alien Origins, so that ended up being a good thing. And yeah, there's lots of bad lines in this, and bad attempts at jokes. It was making me... I felt like I was just watching a regular Asylum film, you know?
Yes.
Because I've seen some of them, and yeah, they're usually about this level of quality. Which really says a lot about how bad Alien Origin was, that it couldn't even rise to that level.
Our main character, Emma, ends up getting called back to her father's lab after signal communications have been knocked out by the meteors. And we get the start of our father-daughter subplot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there were also some great lines here. Like, when the cell phones stop working, one person says, "Where is it coming from?" And then another person says, "I don't know, but it might explain why the phones aren't working." Come on, guys, you can do better than that. And also, I wanted to mention this, the transitions between scenes.
They're strange.
They're so, like, they're these, like, really unsubtle wipes that just come across ridiculous. When the transitions between scenes get too over the top for your movie, you should tone it back a little bit. But...
yeah.
And, I will say another thing. The camera work in this, it's better than Alien Origin.
The camera stays in place for the most part, which is very nice.
It looks about what an average, like, student film would probably look like, so, yeah. Like, I was noticing, I mean, they actually bothered with, like, lighting equipment, and I'm like, wow, I mean, they actually put some effort into this, like... Oh, and we also got the first ad break.
Well, what did you end up getting?
I wrote down the ad breaks for this one as well. Walden University.
Okay.
I don't know who that's named after, but maybe it was named after the Thoreau book. I don't know. And then the same Old Navy ad from earlier.
Yay!
And there was much rejoicing. And yeah, then it's back to the movie. She's driving a truck, and then electric shocks stop it. Which, wait a second. Is this yet another movie we've done with an EMP in it?
I guess it is. We've done so many movies with EMPs and not GoldenEye yet.
Not GoldenEye. It's also the worst movie we've done with an EMP in it. It's fair to say. Because, Escape from LA has its problems, but...
I'd take it any day over this.
Yeah, the EMP actually ends up being the coolest thing about that movie, too. So there's that, because of the ending. And yeah, she stops at a gas station to get help. There's like electric shocks that start attacking the gas station. Car starts up, which, wait a minute, is this going to turn into Maximum Overdrive?
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah, unfortunately, no. Oh man, imagine if Asylum did a ripoff of Maximum Overdrive. What would the title be? Like,
Turbo Speed. Turbo Drive.
Turbo Drive.
No, they wouldn't put that much effort into it. It would just be Maximum Drive.
Maximum Drive. Yeah, she talks to her dad, who is at a computer desk in a wheelchair, and I gotta say, I am very amazed at the acting in this. Yeah, the next time people say that Hayden Christensen's acting in the prequels isn't that good,
just show them this movie.
Show them this movie, yeah. And it also helps the dialogue is very flat, too.
And it starts off being a conversation about meteors crashing into the place, and then it ends with the daughter telling her father that she hates him. As most conversations go.
Exactly, yeah. And there was one line here I wanted to bring up where her dad like says to her, "Ah, so this is why we don't talk. And all this time, I thought it was because I was a bitter old man." Because apparently it was something she said in a conversation that we didn't see. But and also, again, I gotta say, the directing in this movie, A+, man. They're just walking through hallways in some nondescript building. They did at least try with lighting.
Yeah.
I'll give them that. I mean,
you could see what was happening.
I mean, it's nothing amazing.
was happening.
It's nothing amazing, but at least looks like it doesn't look like they just stood people in front of a camera and didn't set anything up. There was an actual film crew here. And hey, it's also trying at character development. It doesn't do it well, but at least it tried.
It's there. The building blocks are there.
Do or do not. There is no try. Yeah. And some guy's blocking off the road and stuff. And then the guy in the wheelchair shows up and says, "I'm Ben from the observatory. I need to get samples from that rock." And they just let him go through.
Yeah. Completely unattended, by the way. It's just the old guy in his wheelchair just going up by himself.
That too. He's just rolling around in a wheelchair, just going. Yeah, he goes in there by himself. Yeah,
and he falls into the pit where this rock is as well.
But I just found it so funny that all he had to do was say, "Oh, I'm Ben from the observatory," and then they just
let him in.
I got to go study a rock, and that's all he needed. That was literally it. Oh my god. And then the ground shit. Yeah, he falls out of the wheelchair. Oh, and he also sees a weird creature with wings, which is another thing I wanted to point out. 20 minutes into Alien Origin, aliens had not shown up. About 22 minutes into this, we get to see the alien.
Yep.
For the first time.
It's this weird bat dragon looking thing.
Yeah, it looks like a bat beast. I mentioned man bat earlier. It looks like man bat. And I gotta say, fantastic CGI.
Well, not just that, but like as soon as we see it, we just get this baffling effect where some fighter jets are chasing down the alien, and it just starts vibrating to such an insane level. You can't tell what it is. It just looks like 4 polygons shifting in a circle, basically.
It like flashes around about as much as the opening credits did.
It's so disorienting and just jarring.
And it just blows up a few planes. Like that scene, that was what Alien Origin was missing. It needed more, it needed scenes like that, basically. And then for the other people, they're watching this, and for some reason they feel really sick when they see the monster.
Except for our main character.
Except when they look away. Yep. But then, like, it's explained, they put the helmet on, and then it doesn't affect them, which I'm like, okay, what? What the fuck? Like, what? That whole scene was just... And also just the way the bat creature was just blowing up planes, like, it was just... Again, the special effects look great. I mean, I don't know how much better we'd be able to do, to be fair, but like... this is where I got another ad break.
Oh, what'd you get this time?
I can guess what it was.
Old Navy and Chuck Grassley.
Well, just Old Navy, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, there are some Chuck Grassley ads later on. And at this point, I was like thinking, you know what? This sucks, but I am enjoying it more than Alien Convergence.
That is some high praise right there.
Alien Covenant, which I'd like to remind people, it was number 2 on my top 10 worst movies we've done on this podcast. And it's better than that one, so at least. I don't know if I can't say that about Alien Origin, but I can say it about Alien Convergence.
Ugh.
That's high praise. Oh, we got a great line delivery here when the wheelchair guy says, "Did you see what crawled out of the goddamn ground?"
And the security officer's just kind of taking everything in stride. He's like, yeah, that was weird.
Just oh my god, all of the actors in this were just terrible. Like, a lot of times it just felt like they were saying the lines
Yeah.
and not like they hadn't worked on the rhythm of the lines at all. It just felt like, because there were so many times where like the first half of the sentence would sound like a little bit more enthused than the second half.
Yeah.
It just
And I
trailed off.
noticed that at times during the end, like actors, it seemed like they would kind of forget their lines for a second and they kind of stumble over a word and they still went with that take.
Probably, yeah. It would be like if I was going, and then we went home. That's kind of what it sounded like. Or something like. And then we get people walking around in the desert. Which made me wish I was watching Star Wars, which I did earlier today. So, yeah. I'm half expecting them to run into like R2D2 or C3PO. But then that would be a better movie. And the Asylum isn't good at making better movies.
And if Alien Origin is anything to go by, they're not even good at making movies at all.
I was also noticing another thing. I don't know if this was a problem with your copy, but the closed captions on mine were misspelling words.
Oh, I did not use closed captions, so I cannot attest. But wow.
I usually use closed captions while I'm watching stuff on Tubi, but yeah, or Netflix. For example, faster was spelled as waster at one point.
What?
Yeah. They for some reason it was faster spelled with a W, but yeah, I don't know. It was just, I was like noticing that. I'm like, wait a second, like, just
That's baffling.
to be fair, if you were doing the closed captions for Alien Convergence, you'd probably get lazy too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, we get shots of building destruction, which, I mean,
Always welcome.
I mean, Alien Origin didn't have that. I feel like that's most of this podcast is just Alien Origin didn't have that. So
yeah.
They find a cave and go in. There's a big CGI monster in there. And it looks like a giant reptilian vampire bat. Looks nothing like the cover at all.
Nothing. And like I mentioned, it was just straight up reused from a previous Asylum movie.
Yeah, from like a dragon one, right?
Yeah.
It kind of did look like it was supposed to be a dragon, yeah. Oh, that's so lazy. That's like, God. I was also distracted because the lead in this looked kind of like this one girl I knew in college.
Oh, yeah.
That was distracting, which I'd rather not talk about the experience, so let's move on. But anyway. They poke some rock/egg-looking things, and the slug creatures come out.
And then merge into one larger slug.
Yeah, something. I don't know.
I saw that and I was like, are we really doing that? That they're just they just go into each other like that? Okay.
I mean, you probably shouldn't question too many things about this movie, man. And then the bat alien wakes up and they run out of the cave. But one of them, she ends up forgetting her helmet and then runs back in to get it.
And there are no, like, bad consequences for this. She just runs in and grabs it, and everything is okay.
There was really no tension in this, was there?
No. And this is weird to say, but, like, the protagonists really had no issues throughout. They came up with their plan early on, and it basically worked.
They didn't really face too many, like, actual challenges, yeah. The biggest challenge that any character faces in this movie is that she hates her dad.
Yeah.
For really... they don't even really give a reason for that either, aside from, I guess, she just thinks... I think it's setting just...
It's just, that's what you do in the genre, so they had to do it, apparently.
I think it's finally setting in for me just how bad this one was. Like, really, when the best compliment I could give it is that, oh, it was better than, fucking, Alien Origin. I mean... Oh, another thing. I don't know if I asked this, but... Is it just me, or does this have nothing to do with Alien Covenant?
Nope. It pulls an Alien Origin in the fact that it's not at all related to what it's ripping off.
Although, to be fair, I'm glad it has nothing to do with Alien Covenant, because I don't like that movie, so... Oh, after they, like, ran away and stuff, there was another line that kind of amused me. One character says, "I don't think I've ever been that scared before in my life." And he doesn't even look that scared at all. Like, at all. I'm like, oh, really? If this is the most scared you're going to get? I mean, Christ. Oh, there was another ad break. You want to guess what it was?
Was it Chuck Grassley and Old Navy?
It was Old Navy again.
Yeah.
I was getting really sick of that ad by this point. So this movie I was enjoying more than some of the ads, at least, which Alien Origin couldn't even manage. At least with this one, I was actually writing down lines that I thought were funny. I didn't do that with Alien Origin at all, because there was just nothing.
There was just no funny lines.
Yeah. There was like this one line, they were trying to make it sound like it's this huge line, but the delivery just fell completely flat. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I might.
Where the main character, she says, "We have the technology to stop these monsters and save civilization." Which, granted, it's not a great line, but hey, you might be able to sell it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, and another line. It's large, powerful, and extremely pissed off. I have no idea if that was supposed to be funny, but I was laughing so hard at that line. Like, that was probably my favorite line in the movie. That could have been the tagline, actually.
Yeah, that's a pretty good tagline, yeah.
That would be a great tagline, yeah. It's large, powerful, and extremely
pissed off.
Oh, it's so good. I think there was a Pulgasari reference in this movie.
Was there?
I thought I heard one character say like Pulgasar, and I tried looking it up. The only thing that would come up was the movie Pulgasari, and I'm like, wait a second, is that a fucking Pulgasari reference? If it is, that blows my mind that would be in a fucking Asylum movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kim Jong-il, he would have been very pleased at that. If he wasn't dead, but yeah. And also she pronounces worm in a weird way.
I don't remember how she pronounces worm.
She says it as warm.
Oh.
Warm.
Warm.
Yeah, do you ever go and, like, dig for earthworms out in the garden? Like, what the fuck was that? That was so strange. There were at least with this one, I was noticing a lot of, like, little strange details that was kind of amusing me. So, like...
Yeah.
that was like setting it apart and making me go, okay, I'm kind of glad I watched this one at least. Like, there was just nothing in Alien Origin that was making me go, oh, I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah, no, this was definitely more worth our time than Alien Origin.
We should have just watched this one then. And this movie, another thing about this movie, it's bathed in exposition.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many line deliveries, and like, okay. There was like one part I was like thinking, Christ, they can't even deliver the line, what is it? What's happening? In a way that sounds natural. Like, that's an easy one, too. Like, that's not even the fault of the writer. That's one that should be really easy to deliver. For fuck's sake. Inflection, people. Use it. Like, she was making, like, the lead in this, she was making Denise Richards in The World Is Not Enough look like a Shakespearean actor. And then they're in planes.
Because why not? It
was also at this point in the movie I gave up and even trying to write down, like, plot points.
Yeah. Things just... This is another one of those movies where things just sort of happen and you kind of have to accept that it's like that.
Yeah, and then we get a scene off. Yeah. And during this scene, she smiles, so finally a little bit of emotion here.
Yep. And her father ends up coming by.
Yeah, she reconciles with her dad, basically, and then, okay, good. That subplot's over, move along. It was resolved quicker than the fucking Daily Planet plot in Superman 4. You know, I'm not seeing enough aliens in this movie. I want more aliens attacking buildings.
Yeah, because at one point they showed like a 5-second clip of the alien attacking like a town in Texas, and it's just like, I want more of that.
Yeah, exactly. I'll admit, like, some of the last third of it, I was getting a little bit bored.
Yeah.
Because I was just kind of, oh, come on, I want to see. Because they're, like, up in planes, I'm, like, thinking, okay, if this doesn't turn into Top Gun versus Aliens, I'm going to be very disappointed. I will say that those plane effects are just hilarious. Like, just...
Yeah, they're something alright.
It looks like a 90s flight simulator or something. Like, fucking, what's that game? Pilot Wings? Probably looks better than this, honestly. And that was a 90s game on the N64. This is a movie from 2017. Which, granted, it's direct to DVD, but even still, like, just...
And after the first attack run on this thing fails, they come back in about 5 minutes, figure out that its weakness is cold.
I don't even remember that. Oh, this is also where I got another ad break.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, so... we got... One was for a show called Special Forces, World's Toughest Test.
Okay.
Literally have never heard of this show before. I don't even think it has a Wikipedia page.
That's always a good sign.
There's no Wikipedia page. What the hell? Does it at least have an IMDb page? Okay, it does. Doesn't have a poster on there, but okay. There's like no, I was like watching that trailer just going, I don't know what the hell this is. I'm looking at the cast, there's like nobody in the cast that I recognize. But I guess now I'm aware it exists, so what am I going to do with that information? I'm probably not going to watch it. Although it was probably better than Alien Origin. I'm trying to think of a movie that's worse than Alien Origin. I'm really struggling with that. But anyway. And then the other ad was for... Try and guess.
What was it? Was it Old Navy?
No.
Wow.
The other one.
Chuck Grassley.
Yes, Chuck Grassley.
Yeah, there we go.
And her dad, getting back to the plot, what little there is of one, her dad does really well on the flight test.
And so he is sent up for some reason as the only fighter pilot against this thing.
Yeah. And then they go and attack the aliens in planes. Finally, this is what I was waiting for, basically. And while it doesn't really live up to the combination of Top Gun versus Aliens, whatever, I'll take it. But again, we got more exposition. And at this point, I just didn't care.
Yeah.
I probably put slightly more effort into my notes for these movies as the makers of Alien Origin put into making Alien Origin. I love how even though we're reviewing Alien Convergence, what we keep mentioning.
I think it's Alien Origin has left just such a stain on the world that no matter what this movie does, it's not going to be any worse than that one.
Thankfully, it was a small stain because very few people saw it. Just wish we were among the people that didn't see it. And we got another ad break.
Oh, yeah?
I think this is the last ad break. One was for a show called Alert. Again, I've never heard of this. I don't even know who sent it.
Did you not look this one up?
I'm looking it up right now. It's not even like, I don't even think it has. It looks like the IMDb page isn't even fully finished.
Oh, good.
They like don't even have any cast members listed. Wow. Or anything. Like all they have is like, oh, it's premiering on like in 2023 January. But anyway. Okay, so the ads. Yeah, Alert was one of them, and then there was one for Hupy and Abraham.
Oh.
But unfortunately, William Shatner wasn't in this ad.
Oh, darn.
Although I think it was either yesterday or maybe today, I think I got a Hupy and Abraham ad that did have Shatner in it, so I was like, oh, yay, Shatner. And then we get, try and guess. What was the last ad I got on this movie? What do you think it was?
Was it one more Old Navy just for fun?
No, the other one.
And one more Chuck Grassley just for fun?
Yes, it was Chuck Grassley again. It was just an ad saying, oh, nobody works harder for Iowa than Chuck Grassley. And again, this movie, okay, so this movie had no connection to Alien Origin, right?
No.
Okay. So, I still thought the Asylum couldn't even put in the effort to make this like an actual sequel. Atlantic Rim, like they had Atlantic Rim sequels that were clearly anyway.
Yeah.
And Sharknado anyway. Then again, it's pretty easy to make a sequel to Sharknado. All you really need is to have another shark
and you're pretty much good.
Tornado. Yeah, all you need is just a shark infested tornado, and that's it.
So I'll be real. I stopped taking notes, and I have forgotten how this movie ends.
I think I did too. There was again, like I mentioned, I gave up on writing notes for this one.
All I remember is that they learned cold was the weakness. I think they shot like liquid nitrogen at it.
I don't even remember that.
And then that was like the end of the movie.
I gave up on even like writing notes for this. I might have also just been doing other things while watching this, like, because sometimes I'll have other tabs open. I think there were parts of this, but yeah.
So it was...
I did enjoy the crappy special effects of the planes attacking the aliens.
Yeah?
The movie needed more of that. Because it kind of got a little bit boring after a while. But again, that being said,
Still better than the Alien Origins.
Still better than Alien Origin, yeah. Then again, most movies are.
Yes.
Most. There's like, I am struggling to think of a movie that is worse. Well, there might be a few, but we can't mention them on the podcast. Okay, so, yeah, the final thoughts on this one. Okay, the acting, it sucked. I think that's a given. The dialogue was bad. The special effects were bad. I mean, it's a pretty bad movie. I mean, I can't really defend anything about it, but I got some amusement out of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
It did fall into the so bad it's good territory a few times. Not enough to really save it, but... And I was able to watch the whole thing. I was able to get through the whole thing. I couldn't do that for Alien Origin.
Yeah, I think my review, all that I really need to say is that it was better than Alien Origin.
That's it, yeah.
Because that is the only real thing I remembered about it.
I also enjoyed it more than Alien Covenant, so... That's basically what this movie was, though. It was just a palate cleanser after how bad Alien Origin was.
Yeah.
Because at the very least, there was a little bit more effort put into this one.
Yeah. Even if
it at least qualifies as a movie.
Yeah.
It's a very bad movie, but it's a movie. You know?
And so, really, what have we learned today?
What did we learn today? Okay.
Don't trust Asylum for anything.
The lunatics are running that asylum, I'm telling you. I will say there's probably other Asylum movies I enjoyed more than this one.
Yeah.
Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus is more enjoyable than this one. I mean, there's worse ones than this, obviously, like Alien Origin.
Yeah.
I wonder if Alien versus Hunter is better or worse than these.
I think I'm done with Asylum Alien movies.
Do you think this is good enough for our Asylum fix? We don't need to do any more Asylum movies on this podcast.
I think I agree. I'm Asylumed out.
Do you want to stop doing Asylum movies on this podcast, or
maybe not entirely? Who knows? Maybe once the next Indiana Jones comes out, we do an Alan Quartermain movie.
Maybe. I'm kind of curious about Princess of Mars.
Yeah.
Or, well, also known as John Carter of Mars. It's like a John Carter ripoff.
Oh, good.
Or wait a second. No, wait. It's not. It came out before. It's a ripoff of Avatar. But I might watch that one just because I like watching a lot of crappy sci-fi movies. The Terminators.
Still probably better than Terminator Dark Fate.
I feel like they got sued with that one. But it was a mockbuster of Terminator Salvation.
Oh, okay. So a little earlier.
I still haven't seen Dark Fate.
I've seen enough of it to know that I do not want to watch it.
I gave up on Terminator. After, I'm just done. I'm done with Terminator, just after how bad some of the, Although there was a part of me that's thinking, well, Emilia Clarke is in Genesis. I might rewatch that one just for that. But, aside from that, because they just got so bad and so pointless. Yeah. And then it sounded... Everything I was hearing about Dark Fate, I was just thinking, this sounds like the worst one out of all of them, for Pete's sake.
So, I think for now, at least, we're done talking about Alien Origin and Alien Convergence.
Yeah, let's just talk about other... Or wait, I do have some trivia for this one, yeah. You mentioned they used the same models as Dragon Crusaders. That was one of the trivia facts I had. The other one, I only wrote 2 things for this one, because this is all they had on IMDb. It was all they had. At 1:26:54, we see Benjamin Robbins' framed diploma from the Sam Houston Institute of Technology.
Nice. Subtle. Very subtle.
Yeah, they formed the unfortunate acronym SHIT.
Yeah.
I kind of want to look at like some other Asylum. I'm just gonna look at like a list of like Asylum movies right now. That's how we'll spend the rest of this podcast. 2012 Supernova.
I did watch one. Like I'm trying. I need to find the first one that I watched.
Paranormal Entity. I think I remember you mentioning it. It was like a tornado one or something. I don't remember the name of it.
Shoot. Let me. Was it this? Yes, it was 500-mile-per-hour storm.
That's right. Yes, it was like a ripoff of Into the Storm, which I've seen Into the Storm, and that's already not a good movie. So I can't even imagine how bad their version of it is. The Seven Adventures of Sinbad, which is apparently a ripoff of Prince of Persia.
Oh, here's one. So you remember that rock movie San Andreas?
Yes, I remember that. That wasn't a very good movie either.
Well, Asylum made one called San Andreas Quake. I watched both of those movies on the same day, I'm pretty sure.
Oh no. Which one was the better of the two?
Honestly, I don't remember. I think I had more fun watching San Andreas Quake, if I'm honest.
I'm probably not gonna watch either one.
Fair.
I am kind of curious about Mega Shark versus Crocosaurus. The sequel to Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. Which was followed by Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark. Almighty Thor. Oh man. Battle of Los Angeles. That was a ripoff of Battle of Los Angeles.
I'm interested in Dracula, the original living vampire, which is apparently a ripoff of Morbius.
There's no way it's as good as Morbius. I mean, nothing is as good as Morbius because it's the greatest movie ever made.
I will say I do sometime want to check out Battlestar Wars.
I might have watched that one.
Really?
That's the one I'm thinking of. Because I did watch a few. Again, I enjoy watching crappy sci-fi movies sometimes. Yep, I've seen that one.
Oh, you've seen that one?
I'm trying to remember what I thought of it. Yeah, I saw it. I might have skipped through parts of it. That one, I'm just... Oh my god.
Hey, it's got the same rating as Alien Origin.
It's not worse than Alien Origin. It's a lot better than Alien Origin. Which again is not saying much at all. Mega Python versus Gatoroid. It was directed by the same director of Pet Sematary and Pet Sematary 2.
Oh. Interesting.
Two-headed shark attack. There's a classic. And the sequels to that one, you had three-headed shark attack, and five-headed shark attack, and six-headed shark attack. Oh my lord. Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies, which...
Yep.
I've seen that one. That one's pretty bad.
There's Tomb Invader.
Is that like Tomb Raider?
Yeah. They did a movie this year called Shark Side of the Moon, which is apparently a ripoff of Iron Sky.
How is that a ripoff of Iron Sky? That doesn't make sense.
I don't know. But you know what Iron Sky is, right?
Yeah, I do.
That's such a weird movie.
I think I've seen clips of it. I kind of want to see it. It's on Tubi right now.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
As is Shark Side of the Moon, that's on Tubi as well.
Yeah.
Tomb Invader. Let me look at this. Oh, wow. The character's name in that. Alabama Channing.
Nice.
Oh, don't you just love ripoffs sometimes? Because then you get shit like that. That's one thing that sometimes I do love bad movies because there's stuff you get in them that you just don't get in good movies. You know?
Yeah.
There's certain wrong choices that don't get made in good movies that, you know, just like...
I feel like I've seen like a handful, and there's one that I'm trying to find. There, 2012 Ice Age. I've seen that one.
Wait, which one?
2012 Ice Age. It's a ripoff of The Day After Tomorrow.
Oh.
That one's bad.
That was 6 years after Day After Tomorrow, though. Oh, wait, it's a sequel. Wait a second, what? It's a sequel to 2012 Doomsday and 2012 Supernova. So and I guess those were ripoffs of like 2012 and that was 2012 Supernova a ripoff of. It wasn't a ripoff of Supernova, was it? 2012 Supernova. I guess that was the ripoff of 2012. What? God. 2012 Doomsday? What on earth? Okay, whatever. Oh yeah, I remember this one. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes.
Oh.
Have you heard of this one?
I have, yeah.
Sherlock Holmes fighting dinosaurs. Because that's what Arthur Conan Doyle's original creation was, right?
It's what he always intended.
And somehow that's not even the worst Sherlock Holmes adaptation I've seen. It's one of them, though. It's one of them.
Alright, do you mind if we end the episode here?
I'm still kind of curious about some of the Nazis at the center of the earth. Oh, that's a ripoff of Iron Sky. Nice. Clash of the Empires ripoff of The Hobbit. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, but I still kind of want to keep looking through this.
So next time we'll be taking a look at a better movie.
Which one are we doing? Darkman or
Darkman?
Okay, Darkman. Yeah, I was trying to remember if it was Darkman that we were doing next or The Batman, but
yeah, I kind of forgot myself. Anyway,
pretty sure it was Dark. Does it really matter?
Darkman. I have the list up. It's Darkman.
I mean, we could switch it around if you want, but
I'd be down to do Darkman.
I'd rather do Darkman anyway. I haven't seen it in a while. I have a DVD of it, so yeah.
Andy Griffith time.
Yep. Fuck these movies, by the way.
Good night, you stupid idiot. Good night, you miserable slob.